Hi everyone, my name is Ummi Umaira Binti Rosman. So my group members are ATHIRAH, HANIM, NURUL, NAJWA and JAWAN. So today we will be presenting about the risk assessment on a company that we have researched about, which is called the Seri Dewi Malam. So what is this company? Seri Dewi Malam is a health and beauty product company who focuses on online selling on e-commerce platforms such as Shopee, Lazada, Facebook Marketplace, Instagram Shopping, and TikTok Shop. So this company has over 40 distributors from Southeast Asian countries such as Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, and Brunei. So to start with our risk assessment, I will pass the presentation to the next person.
So I'm going to continue this presentation by presenting the mitigation plan that we came out for each risk that we identified before. And for the first risk is unsecure and exposed password handling. The first mitigation plan that we came out is to establish a comprehensive password policies that include requirements, for example, the password complexity, length, and expirations. This is by this we can enforce the company to add another extra layer of the security. And the second one is monitoring plan. The company should monitor login attempts and password change that may indicate the unauthorized access password. By this, we can promptly detect and respond to any suspicious password activities. The last one is recovery plan. The company should educate the employee on how to report suspected unauthorized access incidents in the company, and it is to prevent the future incident that might happen in the company. Next, the second risk is password policies. The mitigation plan that we came out is to develop a password policies that outline with the requirement, for example, the password complexity, the length, and this is important to educate them about creating the strong password, and this is to reduce the potential risk if they use the weak one. And for the monitoring plan, the company can use automated tools to check for the password complexity and common password vulnerabilities. And lastly, for the recovery plan, it encourages users to promptly report any suspected compromised password or unauthorized access, which company should provide a clear instruction for the user to change their password following their password policies. The third is the company not using secure connections. The mitigation plan that we came out is the company should ensure that all network connections use secure protocols such as HTTPS, which is for web browsing, SSL or TSL is for the email or other sensitive data transfer. While for the monitoring plan, the company should monitor network log and traffic pattern to identify any unsecure connection by setting up alerts, for example, notification or alarm. And the lastly, for the recovery plan, if any security incident happen, the employee should check to response team which identify the root cause to the security connections. For the fourth risk is to inadequate authorized control. For the mitigation plan that we came out is to implement an IDS, instructions detection system, is to monitor the network traffic, system log and security events to identify security branches and to detect the unauthorized access attempt or malicious activities that happen. And for the monitoring plan, we are encourage the company to set a real-time monitoring for the network traffic, systems log and security events to be conducted. And lastly, for the recovery plan, in the event of instructions, incident response plan should outline the step-by-step process to be followed, investigate, and recovery. For the fifth risk is lack of instruction detection mechanism. The mitigation plan that we came out is to assess the company's security needs and select and upgrade IDS that align with the company's requirements. This is to monitor and analyze network traffic for sign malicious activities. The monitoring plan is to implement a real-time network traffic monitoring tool to monitor network logs such as suspicious behavior that may indicate the security branches and interruption times. And lastly, for the recovery plans is to conduct a comprehensive analysis to determine the scope, impact, and the root cause of the incidents itself.
The next risk is reliance on third-party applications such as Shopee and Facebook Marketplace. Apps like this may have their own security vulnerabilities. So the way we mitigate it is by conducting due diligence by evaluating vendors based on their reputation and security practices. This is to stay informed about any reported vulnerabilities related to the application. The monitoring plan is to regularly monitor the performance, security updates, and support provided by the vendor. For recovery plan, the company should develop a contingency plan that outlines steps to be taken in case of disruption or issues related to the third-party application. Next, the company lacks of proper inventory system that will result in delay of stockouts. Overstocking leads to unnecessary cost and even potential waste. One way to mitigate this is to invest in a reliable system that can effectively manage inventory items. Then, to monitor, the company should conduct periodic physical inventory counts. And lastly, to recover in case of data loss, the company should regularly back up the company's inventory data. The company practices improper financial system that can potentially lead to legal and compliance issues. A mitigation plan on this risk is to conduct a comprehensive evaluation of available systems. The company should look for a system that has robust financial controls and scalability, then customize and configure the systems to meet the company's financial requirements. Next, to monitor it, the company should conduct periodic audits that include monitoring financial transactions and data generated by the system to detect any anomalies or inconsistencies. Lastly, as a recovery plan, the company should maintain regular backups of financial data to ensure its availability in case of system failures or data loss. To mitigate lack of exposure to data integrity, the company can implement and educate the staff members on data validation checks, encryption mechanisms, access control, and audit trails. As a monitor plan, the company should monitor data access and modifications and implement automated tools and alerts. This is for the company to quickly act on any suspicious activities and to ensure reliability of the company's data. Lastly, the recovery plan is to develop a process for restoring data from backups and validating its integrity before reintroducing it into the system. This is also done to detect any suspicious or unauthorized activities that may indicate data integrity issues. The last risk that I will be presenting is the company has poor backup policy, and we can mitigate this by implementing a comprehensive backup policy. The company should implement a backup policy that includes determining backup frequencies and retention periods and define the storage locations for backups. Next, for monitoring plan, the company can implement automated backup monitoring tools. This is to continuously monitor the backup processes and systems. For recovery plan, the company can maintain multiple copies of backups, including offsite storage.
So the next risk is there is no proper IT guidelines for the employees. So the absence of these guidelines can increase the likelihood of minor mistakes that will lead to potential cyber threats that might happen in the company. So the employees might unknowingly download malware and viruses into the company's computer. So the first step will be to mitigate the risk, which is to develop a thorough IT security policies outlining recommended practices for employees to follow. So these policies include instructions for safe browsing, email security, password management, and even program installation. The policy would provide a clear objectives and step-by-step guidance for every employee. Then the next step is to monitor the risk, which the company can set up a security incident and event management SIEM system together and correlate security event data from many sources. So this will be helpful in detection of trends and abnormalities that may signal a possible security problem. Then the recovery plan will be to develop written incident response protocols outlining the measures to take in the case of a security issue, such as isolating the impacted systems, conducting forensic investigations, and recovering data from backups, and also applying security upgrades. The next risk is the lack of multi-factor authentication. So multi-factor authentication is a multi-step for an account login process that requires users to enter more information than just a password. So however, this company only has a layer of authentication which can lead to attackers guessing the passwords easily and gain unauthorized access to their systems. So to mitigate this risk, users should be required to give at least 2 authentication elements such as password and a unique code like a biometric authentication like fingerprints or face recognition or even a physical security token. And to monitor this risk, it is to set up an extensive logging and monitoring system to record and analyze access logs and audit trails. The company should set up real-time alerts to warn the IT team or security staff of any odd or suspicious authentication occurrences. And the recovery plan would be to implement account lockout techniques that deactivate user accounts temporarily after a certain number of failed login attempts. So the next risk is the loss of productivity caused by network outages. So the company's productivity might be reduced because of the network downtime that might be caused by Wi-Fi interruption, hardware failures, software issues, incorrect configurations, and more. So because the employees are unable to perform their duties, it can also impact the customer service and satisfaction. So these will have a domino effect on the overall productivity of the company. So to mitigate this risk, it is to provide a redundant network infrastructure such as redundant internet connections, routers, and switches. This guarantees that if one network component fails, a backup is available to maintain connectivity and reduce downtime. And to monitor this risk, it is to always analyze network logs and error messages for any potential faults or errors that might endanger network connectivity and performance. So the company should review the logs on a regular basis to discover and handle any irregularities and warning flags. And the recovery plan for this risk would be to preserve backups of essential network configurations and data up to date. So to develop a detailed methods for recovering network settings and data after a loss or outage. The next risk is the absence of disaster recovery plan, and this is because every company is vulnerable to the impact of natural disasters. So it is crucial to have this plan because they can protect the data, minimize financial losses, and maintain the stakeholder confidence. So, to mitigate this risk is to implement a strong data backup policy, including frequent backups of essential corporate data, and to ensure data availability even in the case of natural disaster, and to use redundant storage system and offsite backups. To monitor this risk, the company can implement a monitoring system such as the weather system or the early warning system so that these systems can identify and alert the company of any possible catastrophes caused by nature. So this allows a proactive decision making and prompt reaction. The recovery plan would be to create a precise method for restoring data from backup images. So it should provide a detailed instructions for recovering data from backup storage, verifying data integrity, and restoring it to the production environment. The next risk is the lack of control after handing over goods to the courier. So once the goods are handed over to the courier, the company has limited control over the handling. So there may be a possibility of the goods to be lost, damaged, and mishandled during the transit. So to mitigate this risk, the company can create an explicit instruction and processes for delivering items to the courier. So this should involve the packaging, labeling, and recording the condition of the products prior to transfer. And to monitor this risk, the company should implement a real-time tracking and monitoring system for the shipments. So this can involve using the courier service tracking numbers, web portals, or even mobile applications. And for the recovery plan, the company can establish a procedure for staff to report any events to the management, including damage or missing shipments. So they can document all these incidents, including shipping information, dates, and any supporting documentation. And this information might be valuable for filing insurance claims or dealing with courier service providers. That is all from me.
Hi, I'm Jawan, and now I'll be explaining about one of these risks here. Lack of supervision and monitoring can lead the staff to go lazy or careless. So to mitigate this plan, we've created an accountability structure that employees inform implication of failing to satisfy these standards, so they can be informed about work requirements, deadline, and also the performance criteria. So for the monitoring plan here is to maintain regular check-ins and also progress report with workers to discuss and analyze their work, and also resolve any flaws or complaints as soon as possible. To recovery plan here is to provide additional training and coaching to employees who need assistance so that they can assist in addressing any skill gaps or knowledge. For another risk here, the company has implemented security surveillance even with comprehensive security camera coverage, but still blind spot can still exist. So to mitigate for this plan, conduct a comprehensive examination and also install more cameras or change existing camera angles to eliminate the blind spot and assure complete coverage of crucial locations. So the monitoring plan here to create a centralized monitoring center, which all camera footage can be watched, also use intelligent video analytics and alarm system to identify suspicious activity. So for recovery, take urgent steps to restore the surveillance system integrity, to replace or repair any damaged or compromised equipment, and also update the security procedures. And one of these risks here also, the company did not implement the employee rotation of duty policy, which may result in increased fraud risk. So to mitigate this plan, create and execute a policy requiring workers to rotate their responsibilities on a regular basis to ensure staff are exposed to variety of position and also responsibility. So for the monitoring plan here is to, during the rotation, assign supervisor or manager to monitor and supervise staff to guarantee that staff follow defined process and adhere to their assigned obligations. So recovery plan here is to employee implicate in fraudulent or others should get assistance and counseling. So they were giving them a chance to change their ways. So during work from home, employees cannot bring their office device home, so they need to use their own device to perform their job responsibilities. So to mitigate this plan, create a detailed BRD policy that includes standard for authorized use and security requirements and employee obligations. The monitoring plan here is to implement mobile device administration system that enables centralized administrations and monitoring of staff device to enforce security standards. Also check device inventories and control device remotely. So the recovery plan here is to form incident management team comprised of IT, security, and also legal employees to take responsibility in detecting to occurrence should be clearly defined. And last, employee sabotage policy are crucial for protecting the workplace from potential threats that can happen anytime. So to mitigate this plan, implement a comprehensive communication and training program to ensure all the workers are aware of the sabotage policy of company. So to monitoring here, install a monitoring device to observe staff behavior trend and spot abnormalities that might suggest sabotage by monitoring email interactions, file transfer, and also internet viewing activity. And for the last one, the requiring plan, protect and preserve any relevant proofs such as log, emails, and system backup as soon as possible to be critical for any further investigation, legal procedure, or disciplinary measures.
Now, out of 10 of the risk, I will be presenting 5 of the risk that the risk rating is considered serious. First is unsecured and exposed password handling. This risk is serious because at the company, the passwords are written on sticky note and at exposed location like on their table, so it can easily lead to unauthorized access. Second is password policy. At this company, they are not using strong password policies like alphanumeric codes, so employees may choose weak passwords like 12345, which can be easily guessed by outsiders and potentially cause data breach. Third is inadequate authorization controls. The company is not using VPN, which can lead to network interception caused by malicious attacks. Sensitive data like login credentials, financial data, and customer personal information must be protected. Fourth is lack of exposure to data integrity. The company does not implement educating the employees on data integrity knowledge, so they could unintentionally make incorrect changes to data, resulting to data corruption. Fifth is poor backup policy. The company is at risk of permanent data loss, and recovery of data loss will be challenging if the company fails to implement a strong backup policy.
Now I'll be explaining about the risk portion for 11 to 20. So for the non-proper ethical loss of employee here, happen monthly and loss of data confidentiality. Lack of multi-factor authentication here also happen monthly and loss of data confidentiality. And loss of productivity caused by network outage, it was happen daily or weekly and cause the reputation damage here. And for the disaster recovery plan here, happen annually and also hardware failure. For the lack of control after handing over goods to the courier here, it was happen daily or weekly and of course damage with reputation. And for the supervision policy also happen daily or weekly and also reputation damage and same with the last one. And for the security surveillance here, it was happen monthly by loss of data integrity here. And for the employee relation duty policy here, it was happened annually, but the loss of data integrity for the employee device policy here, it was happened 1 to 2 years, and loss of data confidentiality. And employee sublash policy here, happen money, but reputation damage only. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Hi. Hi, my name is ATHIRAH Binti BIKRI, and you can call me ATHIRAH. Before I start up my interview session, can you introduce about yourself, a bit about yourself and the position in your company?
Okay,
Okay.
Aisha. I'm from Seri Dewi Malam. Uh, my position is manager.
I see. Okay. So I will start my interview. So the first question, what kind of system in the company you are using right now?
Okay, for the company, currently we're using this app. It's like apps dari luar lah.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. Okay, for my second question is, siapa je yang ada access to the system?
All the employees ada access, staff-staff semua, kita punya agent pun semua ada access.
Sistem tu secure tak? Kalau from employee semua guna tu okay tak for now? Macam ada problem tak sepanjang guna sistem tu?
For now memang tak adalah, semua okey je lah. Kira senang guna pun ya, secure pun ya.
Okay. Next question is there any multi-factor authentication? It's like using fingerprint or facial recognition before they enter to the system?
Tak ada.
Tak ada.
Semua je.
Okay, is there any, how the password policy within the company? Macam ada policy tak untuk password for the employees?
Tak ada.
Tak ada juga.
So far tak ada lagi.
Okay, next question is how frequently does the password need to be changed? Ada ke guna untuk company tukar password every 3 months ke once a year ke, ada tak?
Tak ada. Kita kalau macam ada problem je baru kita tukar.
Okay. Dekat company tu ada tak guna VPN? Dia macam secure authentication lah untuk Wi-Fi. VPN. Biasanya untuk secure. Okay. Tak ada cakap. Okay, is there any problem with the server or Wi-Fi connection?
So far tak ada. Cuma Wi-Fi je lah disconnect sendiri macam tu kan. Tapi okey je lah.
Okay, next. Biasanya korang simpan data dekat mana? Macam ada simpan ke? Biasa certain company ada je guna dekat Excel ke simpan data? Ada?
Excel je.
Excel je?
Sebab daripada bis app tu, kita boleh extract terus dia punya database semua. So terus simpan dalam Excel.
Ada macam check ke data-data tu lepas disimpan dekat dalam Excel?
Ada, sebab kita nak guna database tu untuk marketing semua. So memang kita akan check balik semua.
Okay. Okay. Dekat company ada guna macam antivirus ke firewall untuk
Ada.
tak ada? Okay, sekejap Boleh saya tahu ada tak macam mana employee dekat tempat kerja dimonitor oleh macam orang atas manager kan? Macam mana monitor the employee dekat tempat kerja?
Kita ada group, lepas kita semua just macam lepas PKP ni kita start ada work from home juga, so kita alternate lah. Kalau macam today work from home, esok masuk office. So as long as semua staff tu perform, kerja siap semua okey.
Faham. Okay. Kalau company bawa their own devices to the company, boleh ke? Adakah benda tu di allow dekat company? Boleh?
Boleh.
Biasanya company akan kasih laptop ke phone sendiri ke dekat pekerja?
Ada. Kita ada personal komputer semua ada lah untuk diorang guna.
Tapi kalau diorang nak bawa diorang punya sendiri pun boleh?
Boleh.
Faham? Okay. Lagi satu soal kan? Okay, one last question from my side. Dekat tempat kerja ada any rotation tak, macam maybe hari ni pekerja ni dia kerja dekat department ni and then the next month dia kerja dekat department lain pula. Ada ke macam tu?
Tak ada.
So semua pekerja akan kerja specific job dia lah macam kerja. Okay, faham. I think that's all from my side, my questions. And thank you so much sebab spend your time and give some effort to this from our assignment. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Okay.
I appreciate it so much.
Juga. And sorry juga pagi tadi tak dapat.
It's okay, tak apa.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.